Welcome to the Generation Elevation podcast, a conscious, connected platform for those who are ready to manifest their dream life. I'm your host, Elise Riley, a former PT, now motivational speaker, igniting empowerment and transformation all across the globe. Here at Generation Elevation, we are committed to bringing you the most inspiring guests who will share their stories, wisdom, and advice to help you progress closer to living a life of your own terms.
So the other day on my Instagram, I received a DM asking me, Elise, can you please do a podcast episode on how to find your purpose? I was like, oh yeah, this is a good one because many people are hitting me up in the DMs lately saying, Elise, I feel so lost. I feel so lost and unclear and stagnant. I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know how to find my purpose. And I actually spoke at an event called Purpose not long ago where I spoke about how to actually find what your purpose is. Oh, there you go. It's coincidence, right? And many people voted on my story saying, Elise, I want access to what you said because I feel so lost. Who's feeling lost right now? If you're listening to this and you're like, damn, yeah, that's me. I'm resonating. Don't stress because I've so got you. And I was once in your shoes. And it's so exciting for me to be able to share this with you because I know exactly where you are right now. I know exactly the feelings that you would be feeling, especially if you don't know what your purpose is. Because like I said, not long ago, I was experiencing this and holy, it is just the beginning for you. It's just the beginning. And it's about to get really, really juicy and really good. It gets better and better and better. And you're just getting ready to be ready. However, it would help to have some clarity, right? So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to share with you a process that I was taught that I will share with you today that will help you at least be one step closer to having or knowing your purpose, okay? So the first things first is to ask yourself, who am I? Who am I being right now in this moment? Who are you being? How are you showing up in the world? And then I want you to ask yourself this. Who do you want to be? How do you want to be? And if you don't know, that's a cop-out. Of course, you know who you want to be. Maybe you know of someone who's doing the things that you want to be doing or embodying that energy. And if you still don't know, who don't you want to be? And then when you know what you don't want, you're obviously going to know what you do want, right? So who do you want to be? Just reflecting on that question. And getting really clear on who that person is, how they feel, what their day is like, how you want to live life. What do you want to get out of life? We only get one lifetime as this body, in this being, in this vessel. I only get to be Elise Riley, owner of Generation Elevation once, so I might as well have a red hot crack. It's really important if you want to know your purpose here in this lifetime to know yourself first. How do you expect to know such a big question if you don't even know yourself? When you start this journey of getting to know you and becoming aware of life, your thoughts, your feelings, what you're attracting into your life, you then will become aware of your purpose. So if you're just starting out on this journey, you're like, Elise, I feel so lost and I need to know my purpose. It's like, well, hang on a second. How about you get to know yourself first? Because the more you know yourself, the deeper you know yourself, the better you will know your purpose, the more deeper understanding and calling you will feel to pursue that purpose. It will feel like a destiny. I was very lucky in my experience that for me, I grew up in a family that was super supportive of anything that I did, and I am so grateful. And I believe that is part of my journey because this message needs to be out in the world now. The stuff that I'm doing now needs to be out there now, and therefore me as a vessel for that I did not really go through that many experiences that I would classify as trauma because I believe I need to be a clean, clear vessel to be able to channel these messages here for you here and right now. For me personally, I believe in past lives and things like this. And so potentially I've already done that. And that's not what my journey here is about today. My journey here is about inspiring movement in those of you that listen to this podcast. It's about helping you find yourselves. I'm addicted to learning about me. And in that, I hope by sharing my stories and the things that I learn, that maybe it helps you. And whether that be discovering that your mess is your message, discovering that your hardship and what happened to you has happened for you. We're all going to have those times in our lives that feel really low. But those moments that break us down, break us open. Those moments of challenge and hardship show us how strong we really are. And from that is then birth, from that contract, our greatest desires and wants of who we want to be and how we want to live. That is all purposeful. So maybe you're feeling lost and maybe you're experiencing that hardship right now, and that's okay, because know and be excited that your purpose is being birthed through this moment. It's already on its way. It's happening. Yeah, I need to worry. But you're still probably thinking like, oh, yeah, but I still don't know my purpose. Elise, like, help me out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share with you another process that helped me figure out at least my values. Now, this is something that I have learned from Dr. John Demartini. So if you want to go to his podcast, to his platform, to his books, he is an incredible human, and I fully credit this next process to him. But I'm going to share with you what I got for this, and maybe it will give you some clarity on what resonates with you. So this process, I just call it the martini process, and it's a bunch of questions. So I'm going to read them out to you, and I want you to answer these questions. And from answering these questions, we're going to then chunk them up, which is generalize them and categorize them. And once we've categorized them, you're going to have a very clear indication of what you consciously find pleasurable out of life. So are you ready? Are you ready? Got your pen and paper? You got your notes out? If you're driving, well, you're going to have to do this one a bit later. First question is, how do you feel your personal and professional space? What are the things around you? What is in your house? What is close to you right now? What is in your office? What is in your car? So for me, I wrote down like laptop, books, fashion. This is when I first did it. I was like, wait, what? I'm looking at it now. If I'm looking at the things in my experience, I've got a camera, I've got a microphone, I've got my laptop, I've got my phone, I've got the podcast equipment. So it's very clear what I value. What is in your personal space? Second question, how do you spend your time? Where are you spending your time the most? For me, I'm teaching. Right now, I'm teaching. Creating. Right now, creating. Learning. Gym. For me, I've spent a lot of time at the gym. Eating. How do you spend your time the most? Third question, how do you spend your energy? How do you spend your energy? For me, I wrote down events. Events is like a huge energy thing for me. Creating, like podcasts, is a lot of energy as well, and like social media and things. Going to the gym. What is that for you? Where do you spend your energy? Next question, how do you spend your money? Where do you spend your money the most? For me, it was teaching, like teaching equipment, right? Creating, gym, and food. Where have you been the most organized? Like, where do you have the most organization and order is the next question. Where in your life do you feel the most organized? Writing it down, writing whatever comes to your mind. For me, I have the most organization and order when it comes to my creation and teaching, gym, and then learning as well. Next question. Where are you the most reliable, focused, and disciplined? Where are you most reliable, focused, and disciplined in your life? Next question. What do you think about the most? Like, what's always on your mind? What's always on your mind? When I first did this process, I wrote down, I've got a vision of speaking on stage with millions of people to Sexy Back, Justin Timberlake's song. I remember meditating and that vision came to me. And I also wrote working with professional athletes. It's cool, I'm doing that now. And I ran an event, or a couple of events. I did that a bit ago. Next question, a common consistent visualization that you have. What is something that you always see for yourself? Next question, what is your self-dialogue? Like, what do you say to yourself the most? Are you saying like, I love you? Are you saying, oh my gosh, like do better? Hating what you look like in the mirror? Keep going. I'm so tired. What do you say? What topics do you talk about the most in social settings? What topics do you talk about the most in social settings? For me, oh my gosh, get me in a conversation about anything mindset, spirituality, or opportunities and creations. You're never going to escape that conversation. So funny. But what do you talk about the most? Like, what do you love talking about? Who inspires you the most is the next question. Who inspires you? It could be more than one person. For me, I wrote down 4 or 5. I wrote down Louise Hay, Esther Hicks, Joe Dispenza. There's a few of mine. Just noticing the qualities within each of them as well that inspires you the most. Next one is, what are your most consistent long-term goals? Like, what are the goals that you've had for ages? It was really cool when I was able to reflect on this, like some of them I had achieved. I was like, that's really cool. I think sometimes it can be easy when you're a high achiever to set goals, forget about them, achieve them, and then just set more goals and not actually celebrate the fact that you did achieve that goal. So yeah, it was a cool process to be able to reflect back on. What topics of study inspire you the most? Like, what do you want to learn about? Obviously, you're here on my podcast learning, so maybe you can write down personal development, psychology, mindset. For me, I wrote down like manifestation, spirituality, success, mindset. They're like the ones that I love learning about. What makes you want to learn? So now that you have all those answers, what you're going to do is you're going to find the common themes, because obviously like laptop is not going to be a category on itself, on its own. It's probably going to be under like work or whatever it is that you do on the laptop the most. So for me, it's like teaching, creating were my categories. For you, it could be like work, health, connection, etc. Find the categories and put all of your answers into each category, and find the categories that have the most answers related to them. So for me, my highest values ended up being like health, teaching, creating, and learning, because most of my answers related to those categories. Make sense? So that's what you're going to do now. You're going to figure out, what are your top 3 values? What are the top 3 highest values that you have in your life? Once you have that, maybe it's health, maybe it's personal development, mindset, and maybe it's spirituality, whatever it is to you, okay? Now I'm going to ask you, what are 20 things that you can do that are related to those 3 values that can make you money or that can give you happiness? Activities. What can you do? For me, I wrote down some amazing ideas and some shitty ones too. Like some of them are like, oh, that's boring, but it's still related to the categories that I'd written. Usually when you have your highest values attached to things that you don't want to do, your highest values make that thing that you don't want to do easier. So let's say you are doing your chores and you don't really like doing them. Maybe by listening, if you have a high value of mindset or learning, listening to a podcast while you do your chores is going to make the process of doing your chores easier. Does that make sense? Maybe when you're training and you're doing a really hard session and you have a high value of connection, Maybe training with a friend is going to make that thing that you didn't like doing easier. See what I'm saying? So whatever it is that you don't like doing, start attaching those highest values or brainstorming ways you can incorporate your highest values into the things that you don't like doing. And secondly, creating ideas of ways that you can make money, help people, etc. through living those values. For me, I am living a life in alignment to my highest values, teaching, creating, learning, and health. So my podcast, my coaching, my events are all associated with those values. So of course I love what I do. If you're hating your job, if you are hating your sport, if you're hating something in your life, right, it's probably because it is not in alignment with your highest values. As soon as you calculate this and figure this out, you're going to have a deeper awareness of what truly lights you up and therefore be one step closer to understanding and being aware of your purpose. Simple. Today, that is where I will leave that. However, I will do a masterclass in the future that will teach you how to specifically channel your purpose intuitively. And if you're like, ooh, then hang tight. Message me if you're excited about that, because I'm thinking about running a masterclass on how to do that. So if you want to hear that, send me a message on Instagram at elise.riley. You guys are amazing. Thank you for tuning in today. Make sure, screenshot, share to your stories. The more people that get access to my podcast, the more we can help elevate this generation and make a positive impact in this world. So in these times, I think we all need a bit of positivity. And yeah, if you guys could share, that would mean the world to me. I love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I trust that you got exactly what you needed from today. Message me. I'd love to hear from you and how you found the episode. Rate and review, leave your review as well. I always love hearing your stories of how these episodes have impacted you and your life or have resonated. So enjoy the rest of your week and I will see you next Wednesday.
Thank you for being a part of the Generation Elevation community. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to leave a 5-star rating, written review, share, and tag me on Instagram at elise.riley. Until next time, keep loving, keep learning, and keep rising.